Hey guys, how y'all doing? I know it's been a while, and yeah, I took a little bit of time off from YouTube. I've been doing some TikToks and whatnot, but yeah, took a little time off and figured I'd jump back into it and make a video that I've actually been wanting to make for a long while now. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it and break down these numbers for you. All right, so let's hop into it. So this one is going to be I guess, the kind of video that a lot of people probably have been looking for. I want to talk about this new raise, or this, it's not really new anymore, but this whole raise that came out for Walmart. Before I get into it and start talking numbers, I will put a disclaimer out. It's not even really a disclaimer. I'm just going to talk about a few things. It was really big on Facebook. Some article, whatever, leaked and it got dropped out saying, like, first year drivers at Walmart can make like $95,000 to $110,000, up to $110,000 a year. And it really threw a lot of people off because the way the title was worded was making people believe all you could make was, like, at the most $110,000 a year. So I'm gonna go ahead and kill that myth right now. Before Walmart even gave us this raise, which is supposed to be the biggest raise in Walmart history, but before Walmart even gave us this raise, I'm gonna go ahead and say people were making that already. So yeah, and not to mention, there's a lot of drivers making significantly more than $110,000 a year. So don't let I'm sure you guys have seen it on Facebook. Don't let the title of this article throw you guys into thinking like, oh my God, all I can make is 110 a year. Like, is that what this raise is gonna do for me? It's a good raise. There was a lot of hoopla and whatnot behind it at first because a lot of people felt like it was unfair. I'm not going to give my 2 cents. Just, I will say it, when it was originally put out, some drivers got an 8 cent per mile raise. Other drivers got a 1 cent per mile raise. It caught a lot of us off guard. And it didn't matter who you were. Everybody's kind of caught off guard by that. Whether you got the full 8 cents or whether you got 1 cent, a lot of people were caught off guard by it. It just wasn't what people were expecting. So they went back and revamped it, and what they did was they closed that gap on the cent per mile difference. So instead of it being a 1 cent and an 8 cent raise, the people who got the 8 cent raise, they kept that obviously, and the people that got the 1 cent raise, we got bumped up to 5 cents. So now it's either a 5 cent per mile raise or an 8 cent per mile raise. It just depends on the DC that you run out of. I don't know why they did that. I honestly can't say. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying I don't know why they made that decision to do that. I know what my GTM told us when they sat us down and they talked to all the drivers about it. I know what she told us. And talking to other drivers from other regions, because it's not like we can't talk to each other. They were saying, that their management told them something completely different. So I'm getting that there's so many different reasons, and it seems as if, I guess, nobody really truly knows why, except for the ones that made the decision. Either way, I don't really care. I'm happy with the pay. I was happy with it before they even gave us a raise. So, yeah. But I'm going to... So another thing is, a lot of people were hung up on, before I get into talking numbers, is another thing. And this is more so for the drivers that are already here. And the ones that will be here, I guess you can kind of keep this in the back of your mind. But this really is this part should really sit heavily with the drivers that are already drivers for Walmart. I want y'all to think about something. I know a lot of people were very upset when they're talking about, we only got like this small amount of CPM per raise for the raise. Well, not only did they bump up our CPM, but they also bumped up our activity pay. So, prime example, the layover is the same. The arrival and drop went from 10.50 to 11.50. A hook went from 8.50 to $10. I'm looking at the numbers right now. A live load, live unload went from 11.50 to 12.50, and wait time went from $14 an hour to $15 an hour. So overall, it's a pretty nice size raise. And what I decided to do was I took one of my really good days that I had out here. Like, this is an outstanding day that I had. And what I did was, now I'm about to get into the numbers, but I need to say this. My DC was one of the DCs that was given only the 5 cent per mile raise, not the full 8, but the 5 cent per mile. So the numbers I'm going to give you are reflected based off of the DC that I run out of. So you might go to another DC and your DC might get the full 8 cents. So just apply it to, if you're going to apply and you work out of a DC that gave the full 8 cent, then go ahead and crunch these numbers based off of what your DC gave. Like I said, my DC only gave the 5 cent per mile raise, so I'm going to talk about the numbers based off of my DC. So I'm going to talk about under the old pay plan. So, and this is for first year drivers. And this also should help shed light on when people saying, well, I don't understand how Walmart can say you're getting paid 49 cents per mile, but you're averaging $85,000, $90,000 a year. I'm about to do a breakdown to really show you how you can actually average that. So let's get into it. I'm going to talk about the old pay plan. Under the old pay plan, all right, this would be for very first year Walmart driver. You're making 49 cents per mile. So for this particular day, I drove 617 miles. I had the layover pay. I had 6 arrived drops, 5 hooks, 2 live loads, and 2 live unloads. So I went ahead and broke those down. I drove 617 miles at a rate of 49 cents per mile. That's $302, rounded to the even number, because I like even numbers. All right. So we have the $302 based off of 617 times 49 cents per mile. Then I had, write this down to help so you can see the numbers for yourself. Then I had the $42 layover. I had 6 ADs, which is arrive and drop. So 6 times 10.50 is $63. I had 5 hooks. 5 times 8.50 is $42. I rounded that down. It was actually $42.50, but I rounded it down. The live load is $11.50 times 2, $23. Live unload, 2 times $11.50, another $23. Under the old pay plan for that day, I grossed $495. Okay, now I'm going to jump over to the new pay plan. So, the new pay plan, I drove 617 miles at a rate of 54 cents per mile. That means I got $333 that day in just mileage pay. The layover's the same, $42. I had 6 arrived drops times $11.50, that's $69. I had 5 hooks at $10 per hook, which is $50. Live load, 2 of those at the rate of $12.50, which is $25. 2 live unloads at a rate of $12.50, which is $25. Under the new pay plan, I grossed $544. Okay? Now, I looked at now for this particular example, obviously in the real world, you're not going to make the same amount of money every single day. But for the sake of keeping this example relatively simple for the viewers, I'm going to pretend that every single day for the year, I wish this would happen in real life, but every single day for the year that you worked, you made the same amount of money. Following? So, on a regular 5-2 schedule, you will work 261 days out of the year. So, under the old pay plan, $495 for that day times 261, you would gross $129,195 for the year. Under the new pay plan, at $544 a day times 261 days worked in that year, you will gross $141,985. Now, subtracting the old from the new, the old gross from the new gross, you've effectively just gotten a raise of $12,789. Basically a $12,800 a year raise. Now, keep in mind, these numbers I just gave are from a ridiculously good day, at least out in the region where I run. That's considered a fucking phenomenal day. So, take these numbers, apply them to yourself, and I want you to really think about, instead of getting so hung up on the cent per mile, look at the totality of the raise. We got a pretty good raise. It's a pretty nice sized raise. There will be people that have argued, well, they could have given us a higher raise. Well, yeah, sure, they could have. They could probably given a way substantially higher raise than that. But like I said before in a previous video, some months back when they were still discussing it, I am pro driver, but I'm also pro not running a company into the ground. I understand drivers, we want to make all this kind of money and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to understand, you're thinking about it for yourself. All right, cool. That's great if you give yourself a, $12,800 raise. All right, cool. How many drivers does Walmart have in their fleet? Think about how many drivers they have to give a $12,800 raise. That is a crap ton of money. So, yeah. Think about that. I think the raise is pretty good. This is my personal opinion. I think it's a pretty good raise. On paper, it really, I don't even want to say on paper, just saying it out loud, it doesn't really sound like it's a substantial raise. But when you truly sit down and start crunching actual numbers, it's pretty decent. I think it was super hyped up, and I think that's probably the driver's fault. The drivers of Walmart's fault. I guess they heard it was going to be the biggest raise in Walmart history, and then they kind of took it and ran with it and expected something ridiculous. So kind of put that on ourselves to come up with a wild expectation when really nobody gave us an expectation, We kind of just made up numbers in our own minds and ran with it. But all in all, I think it was a pretty nice size raise. I think that people will be pleasantly surprised coming to Walmart. I think you're going to make really good money coming here. I think it's a good size raise. I really can't knock it. I can definitely say I have enjoyed the raise, and I definitely notice a difference in my paychecks, gross and take home. obviously. They both go hand in hand. But I've definitely noticed a very pleasant difference. This is my 2 cents on it. I just gave you guys actual numbers. You do what you want to do with that information. Like I've always done on this channel, I've always tried to keep it real with you guys to let you know what you're potentially getting into. You know, Walmart's still taking care of the family. Walmart's still taking care of me. Still happy over here. No real complaints. None that are at least worth voicing. I honestly, God, really can't really think of too many complaints, if any. Like if somebody really asked me, what don't you like about Walmart and your truck stop? I actually have to sit and think about it. I'm like, you're gonna have to give me a few minutes to like think about it, because there's not really much I don't like. I mean, haven't I tell you it's a laid back company to work for? People, oh, it's so strict, it's this, it's that, it's terrible. They're going to, when I tell you this job is so laid back, I mean, you just come to work, you do your job. It's like nobody's going to be on you. Like nobody's going to be on you at all. People, a funny thing is I've noticed talking to people that's like, Walmart has you do 360s and you got to get out and walk around the truck. And I'm just like, I mean, you got to do that shit anyway. Like, it's funny that a lot of people complain, this kind of sidebar. I've noticed that a lot of people complain about the stuff that Walmart requires of you to do, but you already have to do it. Like you're already doing it. Prime example. People complain, well, Walmart says you got to get out and do a 360 and walk around the truck. Okay, we get out and do a 360. What do you think you're doing whenever you arrive at a customer? Before you back into the dock, you have to go back and take the lock off your trailer anyway, right? I mean, unless you have some kind of magic trailer, you're already, like, you have to get out the truck. You have to get out the truck. You have to walk to the back. You have to unlock the trailer. You have to walk back to the truck and put it in the dock. You're not doing anything that you already don't do. People are sitting there saying, oh, Walmart wants you to do a tug test and all this. How many of y'all are out here doing tug tests already? How many of y'all are already checking your fifth wheel? How many of y'all are already checking your fifth wheel, the Kingpin release handle? How many of y'all are already pushing that in? Like Walmart's not asking you to do something you already don't do. I think what it is now that you're consciously thinking about the fact that you have to do it, so to you it feels like you're doing more work, when in reality, before you're already doing it, you're just doing it and not thinking about it. Now you're doing it and thinking about it, if that makes any sense. So that work for Walmart makes people feel like, or makes some people that have never driven, they makes them think that they're doing so much more work. We're not over here doing anything that you haven't been doing, at least not a safe truck driver. I have yet to meet someone that is saying Walmart's just asking them to do way too much. Like the stuff that Walmart asked me to do, I've been doing that since I got my CDL. Get out and walk around the truck. I've been doing that. Got to take the lock off the trailer at some point before you bump the dock. You've got to get out and walk around. You know, you've got to make sure you're properly connected to the trailer. I would hope you do that every single time you hook up to a trailer, whether you work for Walmart or not. It's some of the reasonings that I hear people have, and just like, you're complaining about stuff that you already do. It's just now, you're not subconsciously doing it anymore. You're doing it because it's the Walmart way. But you've been doing the Walmart way. You just didn't know it. So yeah. But anyway, get off my soapbox with that. These are the numbers for the raise. Like I said, you'll notice a difference. Well, if you're coming in and new, you're not going to notice a difference because it's all you know. I can speak for myself, but I'm willing to bet very good money that other Walmart drivers, y'all chime in on this video and put your 2 cents in. You know, do you feel like you noticed a big difference with this raise that we got? But as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see y'all on the road. Take it easy.